saying that you peddled falsehood. He's sitting here saying that they had suspicions, and they put out the suspicions, asking questions and, soliciting explanations from the government. Number one, you don't hold press conferences based on suspicions. That is reckless, that is irresponsible. This country is a serious country. You cannot wake up in the morning because you are hungry or you overate and said, I have this suspicion, so I hold a press conference and require law enforcement agencies to investigate your suspicions. You think that is what our security agencies are there for?
He said he was engaged in oversight duties as a member
but
of
oversight
Parliament.
duties is not about raising suspicions. That is irresponsibility. That is recklessness.
You can't ask questions.
When you are exercising oversight, you exercise oversight based on facts. Even if you have suspicions, the suspicions must have some basis. You've not done you didn't do any checks, you didn't provide any information. And you are talking about suspicions that you require state security agencies to spend taxpayers' money in investigating suspicions? That speaks volumes of this whole matter. It speaks volumes about your own credibility. But in any case, Samson, I submit to you that his press conference did not allege suspicions and did not invite state security agencies to investigate suspicions. He is lying again because he has been caught pants down.
You have a copy of the press conference.
We played the portion that you spoke about.
Are you a reverend minister?
Let me have it again. I want to read the specific portion again.
Good.
To him. Yes, go on.
Look,
go on.
I am reading a quote from his press conference, and this quote was reported by My Joy Online. This is a direct quote, and I want to read that to you. There is no evidence. This is quote in Ntim Forjour speaking. There is no evidence of any medical referral or patient on board. Speaking about that ambulance aircraft. Rather, our intelligence, not suspicion, our intelligence suggests that the aircraft was used to smuggle illicit cargo, unquote. Where is suspicion? Why do you lie like that? Is this, did you allege suspicion here? You are talking about intelligence. What is intelligence? Intelligence means that you have been given, you have received credible information about the existence of some facts or a certain situation, and you are saying that because of that, you think that these aircrafts which arrived in Ghana were used to smuggle illicit substances. You made mention of cocaine, you made mention of cash relative to money laundering and so on. Categorical allegations. Now the President of the Republic says, okay, I want to give you an opportunity to share this intelligence you have with the state security agency so that they can investigate it. I mean, if you don't share the intelligence with the state security agencies, where should they start their investigations from? So what any responsible lawmaker exercising oversight would have done would be to say, thank you, Mr. President. I will, voluntarily, or I will happily honor the invitation of any state security agency tasked to investigate this matter.
Samson, ask him.
Yet you,
Chief, 5 days now. Where was Chief?
I think that you are being disruptive. I think you are being disruptive. I think you are being disruptive. I think you are being disruptive. Allow me to make my point. I think you are being disruptive. So you should have been happy about the invitation extended to you to adduce the intelligence you have so that the state security agencies can do what you're calling on them to do.
It's been said.
Well, 3 matters that were already in the public, security matters. One was the national security raid that was conducted by the NIB in Sapiman on intelligence. They went with cameras in full glare on the public. They circulated it for the public to know that, yeah, there's transparency. And if you hide anything, we'll fish you out. I applauded them for that. And then there was another cooking.
It was about the 20-footer container.
Absolutely.
That was supposed to be carrying gold, right?
Absolutely.
Gold bars.
And cash.
Okay.
Then around the same time, there was also some high-profile cocaine busts.
And that was in February.
February 9th exactly.
Okay.
Then there was also a cocaine bust in Takoradi, early March, totaling about a street value of about $150 million. Subsequent to that, there was another high-profile cocaine bust of $350 million. And then they put it out there in the media. There was also another incident, which for the first time in about 3 years, we had never had pirates attacking a fishing vessel on Ghanaian waters. And Ghana Armed Forces so responsibly put out a press release, detailed the incident and investigations that were being carried. So we held a press conference as Minority Caucus, calling on the security apparatus to provide us updates into these incidents that have come.
No issues have been raised with this.
No, yes. So, but the conversation.
Let's go for the jugular.
We'll go to that. But I just want for you to know, it was a single press conference. The Air Med flight was the second issue among the other issues, and we're asking them that what is the status of all these now. We have not even had any questions from them yet. We'll come to that. We haven't had any answers. We haven't had any, and I thought the media, I shouldn't even have put this, question out there, because the media accompany national security. And 2 months on, we have not had any prosecution of the perpetrators. No one has been arraigned before court. The drugs that were busted, nobody has been arraigned before court. And we are asking what is the status of these, including the Air Med suspicious flights, which also came in around the same time. Now, people are so interested in prosecution of Ntim Forjour, and they're not interested in prosecution of the people behind this crime.
That is the allegation you have raised.
Yes.
And that's what we are interrogating. That's a matter of controversy now.
So in the matters,
by the way you detailed what you understood to be the cargo that was brought in, a cargo of cash and cocaine, it meant that you had knowledge. So I have a copy of the press conference here, and you even played a video. We said that our intel has intercepted a certain information, and that information has it that 2 suspicious flights out of thousands of flights which fly in and depart month by month, out of all that, only 2 were deemed to be suspicious, because one came in around exactly 12th March, departed 25th March from Gran Canaria and returned to Gran Canaria. The second also came in 20th March and departed 25th March. The one that even came in on 20th March is an air ambulance. He stayed in, and our intel further indicates that there was no patient on board the ambulance, and there was no organ on board, there was no corpse on board, and there was no patient or organ that was taken out on their return. And all of them returned to Gran Canaria. And there are antecedents about Gran Canaria when it comes to transnational issues on money laundering and cocaine and all that, those concerns. There are those antecedents. So given all those background, and the suspicion indicated that there were movements to and from the flight, suspected to be cocaine and cash. And therefore, we are asking the authorities, in the full principle of transparency, which they had demonstrated even in the raid they conducted at Sapiman with cameramen, just to show that we are doing these operations, those security operations, but transparently. They should give us information to verify what is the actual content. But this is a suspicion. Was it truly cocaine? And they have given you, you don't have suspicions anymore, because you said it was suspicion. And you have been shown that it is not cocaine, it is not money.
Now, the credibility of that video and information is in doubt. And I say so because if NIB, if Narcotics Control Commission, if Ghana Airports Company, if Police CID, Ghana Armed Forces, these relevant agencies had put out information, the credibility is high, and there will be no inaccuracies, and there would have been no crimes. That's all we asked for. We simply asked for facts. And when Ghana Armed Forces brought their facts.
Reverend, you are saying that if it was NACOB or the other institutions that told you or showed you this footage,
then you would want to believe.
The presidency has shown, you would have been okay with it.
You would have believed it, because
my question again to you is that, my question again to you is that
because
you have a suspicion. You have a suspicion. You have now been shown contrary evidence. You disbelieve that contrary evidence. So where is the alternative evidence?
Now, whenever this question is asked, the counter question I ask is that the moment you put out a credible information, the burden of proof shifts. When I put it out there and they doubted, but Joy News checked and indicated that indeed those flights had come.
So in fact, the burden has not gone anywhere yet because a multitude of suspicions don't constitute proof. So you have not given any proof.
Very well.
Before the burden shifts.
Very well. Let me continue to respond.
He
to the
who
concern.
that alleges must prove.
Very well.
Where is your proof?
So,
they have shown you the proof.
So
you disbelieve.
We
it. So
have released our press conference, our press statement, and we have stated in there.
You are talking
that
suspicion.
our intel. Yes, please. Our suspicion is it not the people who gave them intel, upon which intel they went to raid Sapima, upon which intel they went to raid the containers containing cocaine. Samson, going by your logic, did they enter the container to take pictures of the cocaine, took samples of it, brought it as real physical tangible evidence, and brought it to national security? That this is our proof, this is our evidence that there's container in Takoradi, another one in Cape Coast containing cocaine. Therefore, act on it. If we are in this country and suddenly want to say that before a ranking member on the Defense and Interior Committee will ask a simple question of suspicion for relevant authorities to investigate and put out credible information, and that query is evaded by politicians who can't champion the PR of it and prevent the security agencies from undertaking their investigations and credible communication, and demand that the ranking member must bring pictures and samples of the cash and cocaine suspected to be in the flights, then what was the basis for we calling for inquiry and investigations into it? If I don't have a picture and a sample of the cocaine, then I have no gravitas to ask for investigation. Is that a kind of logic? Please, in this matter,
so you are saying
if the government of Ghana is not serious about it,
anybody can get up any day in this country and raise an alarm, and the government should go investigating. And when it investigates and it brings you what it says, this is what the truth is supposed to be.
One investigation,
they should be entitled.
No, please, let me tell you.
Hold on.
No investigation has been done.
They should be entitled to say what the government is showing is false, is fake, and we shouldn't believe that.
Samson, what he put out there cannot be taken seriously, because yesterday I debated Kwakye Ofosu.
The point is here.
Please.
Reverend,
and he said no investigation has been done.
You are not answering my question.
You said
are not answering my question.
An investigation has been done, for which he has put this information, and I'm telling you, he himself said no investigation has been done yet.
You say that you have a suspicion.
Yeah.
Have you moved beyond the suspicion?
We have put out the suspicion we had.
So have you moved beyond suspicion?
To where?
Because you have been shown evidence of the content of the cargo.
And that is not credible. That content
so
is not
it
credible.
means you are not dealing with suspicion, right?
No, that content is not credible, and Samson,
it is not credible because you are not dealing with suspicion. Is that correct?
If you will indulge, the moment we put this information out there, the president responded and called for investigation into the matter, and even called for collaboration. I further wrote for that directive that the president had given to be undertaken. I wrote on 2nd April for it. NDC Parliamentary Caucus wrote a letter to gag that process, so it never came on. Subsequent to that,
you put out the information.
No,
before
please,
belatedly.
He who alleges must prove. You know as a lawyer that there are times when, depending on the circumstance, the burden of proof shifts. And
when does it shift? When does it shift?
My brother, you want a law lecture, or let me answer the question. When I finish, you can choose to. I said, I'm using the example of Achimota Forest.
Just tell me, would you have advised him to do what he did?
I wouldn't advise somebody to do that, but in this space.
Why wouldn't you advise him to have done that?
Let me answer my question, please. Listen, you are dealing with a national issue. I'm not saying he's right or wrong. I'm saying if you
would not have advised him to do that, then the position is that he did wrong.
No, that's not my position. That's why I'm giving you my example. That when I put out the information about Achimota Forest, I was threatened with arrest and etc. I had my credible information. And look, if you Google Kofi Banter goof today, you will see MPP people blasting me online and saying that I didn't have information because
do I hear you say?
No.
Do I hear you say? Hold on.
Don't let me finish.
No, it's important. You won't finish.
Do I hear you say?
Do I hear you say we are all at liberty to speak to suspicion the way he did at the start. And up to today, he can't give any evidential proof, and we should stay at that. And if the state gives a counter position, we should still deny and say it is fake, and we should be okay with it in the country.
The counter position is the official position. At this point, he cannot say he's denied it, except he has other information. But the position of putting out information which he suspects and which he has credible information, I'm saying that, look, my brother here, the president sitting in his office may not know everything going on everywhere. But you have a situation where when some of these things happen, people see it as an attack on them. That's what I'm saying. The nationalistic view will be, look, let us find out what the truth of this matter is. Because we have this history, like Prof. Eni was telling you, where this country has been slipping and we are making some kind of, recovery. Let's not go back. It may be one or two persons trying to do something wrong. So, where there is credible information, and it can be proven not to be credible, we leave it. I take the information that the state has given me. But I worry because, you see, in a sense, it's the system that is being accused. What will it hurt? That's why I started by saying, if we didn't have a polarized partisan atmosphere, to include the minority side of parliament and let the security services go into it. Aircraft movement information is historical and is very meticulous. Let's just lay it out to his satisfaction, other people's satisfaction, and put out the information not in a one-sided way.
Yeah, you have said this already.